Reacher is back this week with episode 7 of season 3. Yep, the penultimate one. And I feel like we all kind of saw that ending being on the horizon, right? With Beck letting 2 undercover agents into his home and almost compromising Quinn, I felt like there was no way that he was actually going to tell Beck the true location of where the deal was taking place. And now, well, it looks like a bloodbath is going to be on the horizon in the attempt to stop Quinn from finding out that Beck betrayed him. With an episode that allowed us to learn a little bit more about Quinn's past, information surrounding the buyers of the weapons and what their intentions were with them, the stakes have never been higher. So with that, let's dive into the episode, break it down, and discuss all things Reacher Season 3 Episode 7. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The ending explained. When it came to the ending of this episode, we saw that Reacher, Duffy and Philly got the ATF involved because they knew that the meetup with Quinn's buyers had the potential to go south if it was just the 4 of them trying to intercept it. There'd be a ton of weapons and they'd be severely outnumbered, so they got the ATF involved not only because it was who Annette was working for who was killed, but also because they're the bureau that would be handling the dealing of firearms. Reacher didn't want to go ahead and meet with them though, because he knew that if that were to happen, then he wouldn't get his opportunity of being able to wipe the life out of Quinn's eyes and finally get that revenge that he was after that was a decade in the making, following Quinn killing Reacher's protege, Cole. We found out that the deal that was taking place was happening between Quinn and buyers from Yemen. This led Reacher and Duffy to presume that the weapons were going to be used for an attack that would be taking place on home soil. As Beck and Quinn have a solid transportation infrastructure in place, so they would have been able to have had them transported with ease if that wasn't the case. So it meant that this attack could happen in the United States, showing even more just how much of a traitor Quinn was to his own country. Beck finally saw the light in this episode and realized that Reacher's side was the one that was gonna potentially get him out of Quinn's tight grasp and the impending death that was on the horizon. I say this because it was revealed by Mr. Kotopoulos that around 5 years ago, Quinn was in Chicago and he was running his operation out of there. He originally took over another family business like Bazaar and threatened the family with death if they didn't cooperate. However, one day the family fought back and essentially told him that they'd had enough and that they wanted him out of their lives. And then, in response to that, the entire family turned up dead. Quinn abandoned the operation in Chicago, changed his name to Julius McCabe, and then took over Beck's business because it was the one that he felt it was easy enough to walk into. Quinn clearly no longer trusted Beck following Reacher and Annette being found out to not be legit, and Quinn now thought that Beck could have been working with the feds. This is why we saw Quinn tell Beck that the meetup was happening at the salvage yard at 9 PM, when in reality it was actually taking place at Beck's 50th birthday party at his home. I'm imagining Quinn told Beck that because he wanted to see if he was going to betray him and inform the authorities of what was happening. And now that it's most likely going to be revealed to Quinn that the authorities were waiting for them there, Beck and Quinn's bargaining chip, which is Beck's son Richard, could well end up facing the repercussions of it and end up losing his life. We also saw Miss Daniel in this episode, Teresa's grandmother. She was extremely appreciative of what Duffy was doing in searching for her granddaughter, but she didn't know that Duffy was the very reason as to why Teresa had gone missing, and that she blackmailed her into it. Duffy taking Teresa's grandmother some chowder over for breakfast was a mark of her feeling guilty, and it showed that she wanted to do what she could do to take the burden off of her grandmother, seeing as though she was the person that had been causing her that pain. Miss Daniel said a line which was, "My granddaughter's no rat," when she was telling the story about the kickballers at school and how she took the rap for all of her friends. And I think that was symbolic of Teresa most likely not telling Quinn any information about what she knew once her position was compromised. We did actually see Teresa for the first time in this episode, and it was actually really sad seeing her being fed the substance that she clearly didn't want. Knowing how hard she fought to get clean and then being forced to be on it in order to stay in a state where she was able to be controlled by Quinn was just heartbreaking. Quinn said the line to her, "You're lucky you have red hair." We know that she's involved as part of the deal to soften relations, so the fact that she has red hair is something that they're clearly interested in. Teresa didn't utter a word because she simply couldn't, and with Reacher now placing Teresa on the same level of importance as what he's placing killing Quinn, hopefully we'll see her make it out alive. Beck and Richard. During this episode, we actually got a bit of one-on-one time between Beck and Richard. With the pair both missing an ear now, it's safe to say that their bond is even closer than what it once was. Beck found the toy gun that his son was fixing up for his birthday, and it led him to appreciate the gift and for him to reminisce over when Richard was younger. We've been made aware how much Richard means to Beck due to the way that he's tried to protect him. But in this episode, we found out that Beck had been pushing Richard away and out of his life because he didn't want him to get caught up in everything that was going on. And the fact that he could end up being used as a bargaining chip and facing the repercussions if things went wrong. We've already seen how Quinn used Richard to get in on the family business and operation with the kidnapping. So Quinn knows that Richard is Beck's weakness. With Beck telling Richard to go to his room at 9 PM and to lock the door so that he was out of the way, I actually don't think that's going to do much. Let's be real, Paulie could probably kick that door in with ease, so I do think that Richard is going to face some kind of heat from both Quinn and Paulie. My review of the episode. I thought this was a good episode of the show. It built towards the finale and left us on a cliffhanger that really left me wanting more. There's a lot at stake and it feels like the finale could genuinely be a bloodbath. A bloodbath in the yard and a bloodbath at the party. Nobody's safe in this finale, and I like that aspect of it, because who knows who could end up dying. I thought Neely having more of a larger role in this episode was a pleasant surprise, and it made me realize that it's actually a bit of a shame that she didn't feature more in this season of the show. Normally she's got a stronger involvement, but this time it just wasn't the case. In every Reacher finale, there's always an epic showdown, and I feel like the party is going to be where the true action's at. Reacher finally coming face to face with Quinn after all of those years and revealing the truth to him this time is something that's going to be epic to watch. But I imagine before Reacher can get to Quinn, he'll have to go through Paulie, something that's going to be even more epic to watch. With Reacher fueled with anger, rage, and revenge, I imagine we'll see a side to him like what we saw in Season 1 when he was going after the people that killed his brother. That same level of emotion will most likely be present. Even though in every season of Reacher there's a love interest at the core of the story, I'm still really not feeling Reacher and Duffy together. It's definitely the most forced one that we've seen out of all of the relationships, and Roscoe still continues to be my favourite. Within this episode, Quinn came across as the most evil that we've seen him. With the way that he was describing chopping Teresa up into pieces and then throwing her over like chum was just sinister. And also the look that he gave Richard as he called his father away as if to insinuate that he'd be coming back for him showed just how heartless he was and that he had no regard for human life. Let's be real though, he betrayed country and killed Cole like she was a piece of meat. So when his moment does finally arrive, it's going to be so satisfying to watch. With only one episode to go, this season has absolutely flown by. That's probably my one issue with 3 episodes being released in the first week. We basically get half the season in one go, and then the rhythm doesn't quite match. So I either think release in one go or just provide one a week. But hey, it has been a very good season so far. I just hope they can stick the landing of the ending. So, there you have it. Reacher Season 3 Episode 7 Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos on Reacher Season 3 being broken down, then click on the card in the top corner. There'll be a playlist there. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. What did you think of this episode? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for tuning into this week's breakdown of Reacher, and I'll see you in the next one.